Welcome to our new episode, the Star Poet Talk Show Part 5. Today, actually, I'm starting this show in different way because our brand ambassador Marija Stankovic has to return after 1 years later from Serbia. So congratulations, Marija. Have a nice day in Serbia, and now it is in evening in Bangladesh. So we are starting this show by some way. Welcome to everyone, beginning of a new episode. Our heart are connected with the poet of 60 countries in the world by the World of Poetry Recitations in Poet Voice online program. In the last 3 years, 525 global poets and poetess have recited poem on Uddan television, the online platform of Uddan Little Magazine. Team Uddan wanted to spread the poetry, all poet in the world under one umbrella, that is Uddan Television. Till today, we are trying this. We believe poetry has no boundaries. We have a slogan, the sky of poetry is one. Now, Team Uddan is thinking about the next generations of writers who will come to write, thinking about them. We have taken the initiative of interview the intelligent and talented poets of the present world. They will know one day the poetry and philosophy of their past elder poets or the senior poets. For this purpose, we are starting this new journey. And luckily, really, we are happy today that today we have got our brand ambassador of Serbia, poetess Marija Stanokovic. So, our episode number today is 212, and the title of our program today is The Star Poet Talk Show Part 5. Today, 13 July, Saturday. Now it is 9 p.m. in Bangladesh time and 5 p.m. afternoon in Serbia. How are you, Marija?
I'm really good. I must say, firstly, thank you. Thank you to the team and thank you to you, Taufik, especially for inviting me again and again over all the time that we have known each other. I have been involved in your shows. I am just back and I'm really glad to be here. So thank you for all the chances you give to us poets, and especially, of course, for um, for the love and for all the chances that you have given to me.
Thank you very much. Really, then we can start this interview show today. First, I am going to ask you one question that I am starting in every times. When did you first start to write, Marisa?
I started writing at a really early age as a child through the cultural centers program for school kids. So it was a really time I was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, and I even have a few poems. One of which is my first poem, of course, published and translated to English, and that is something I really hold dear. It began, as I said, really early on in my life, and I could say poetry really defined all my years growing up to a person I am today, to the woman I am today, and I think it will probably never end.
Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful answer. And now I am asking you the second question. Who is the most influential person in your life as far as writing?
I thought about I thought about that myself a lot. Um, the most influence on me as a writer, amongst the writers, have writers of Serbian poetry. It's because, of course, I'm emotionally most involved while reading, and I hold our own poetry, I must say, really dear. We have had over hundreds of years many good and established poets. But thinking about influence, nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to say I am influenced, but we all are because the people who are involved, like we are, in poetry events, in poetry readings, we hear a lot of modern poetry also. So, like it or not, that also kind of defines us. And I must say, probably, yes, reading poetry influenced me the most. It's our poets, as I said, but also all the all the all the interactions that we had. We had a lot of shows in Serbia. I did a lot of shows, so that's also something that leaves a big mark.
You have to read more poems, then you understand that you can write. So you have to start the writing, and now you have in this position. Just I ask you the one question that is not I sent you. I am asking you. You have a poetry book, A Part of Me. That is the Serbian name Dio Mene. So I am asking you one question: how you publish the book, and how you have to make the plan to write this poetry book.
Well, it happened with God's plan and with destiny. Like everything has to happen, and if I have luck and also God's will, as I said, maybe I will have another done the same way. It is. I had help uh, and guidance of a lot of friends that are in the poetry world actively. I have had help from my family, great support from my mom and dad and my husband. And when the book was published, it's a first book. I was 26. I think it is not pretty young, maybe in poetry, but it is young generally in life. And it didn't have to make something special necessarily, but in my own world, in my own life, it was a big step. And everybody on my of my friends and colleagues uh, really accepted it dearly with heart, and it was an amazing journey. It was really amazing.
I just ask you from your own thought, what is the definition of poetry in your thought?
Well, poetry is expression, connection. As any other artist, I also consider poetry to be the same. It lets the writer and the reader not stay locked up inside. You can express, you can connect, you can share your thoughts, emotions, and finally, it leaves a big mark in history, like all the art, as I said. We'll see which songs will prevail over time, which will not. But anything doing with heart, singing, writing with heart, it can make a trace, and that's the definition of art and of poetry. I think something that can leave a big trace on the world.
Which type of emotion that makes a person to fall in write poetry? Can you explain? Or I am asking you just clearly telling that how you have to write poetry.
Uh,
When
it,
when when you write poetry?
it's not an easy question to answer because I have really spent all my life writing, as I said, since I was a little girl, and I don't have that experience that a lot of poets have of being a grown person, of being, let's say, doing the full circle in life, and then having what to say. Uh, I I started writing. Um, not only young, but also, of course, immature. And so the poetry was based on those topics of a child, in a child's mind. Then it grows, of course, to love poetry, to poetry related to family, to religious poetry, even maybe. So I write when my world is challenged. I write when I must, when I feel like I have to express, and there is really no other way, or there's no better way. That's when I say writing begins. And the topic depends. Over time, it changes.
Such a example, maybe you are in traveling, or something like this in Europe or America or other countries. At this time you have seen some nature or some hill or some sea. In that time, is there any emotion just fall down you to write to poetry, or you can, when you start, you think that I can write now, you have to see it and you have to start the writing? What is the
Yes,
procedure that you have to write poetry? You are writing
yes,
poetry.
yes. I did write really poetry, exactly as you said, in travel, but it is never related to the place I am itself, but of which I'm reminded of. What it reminds me of. So a topic that is really easy, like the top of the iceberg. Some new interactions, a new city I visited. It can only make me think further of, and then let's say the down part of the iceberg, of some inner thoughts, some inner processes that I haven't processed before. So I don't have a song that really resembles this. I'm talking about seaside. I'm talking about somebody being in love on the seaside, and it's all fun and it's all youthful. And the story that I feel in my heart, it has such a deeper meaning. So that's kind of how I do it.
Fantastic. You are giving us such a brilliant answer, and I am really impressed to
It's
listen
true.
you.
I'm doing honestly.
Yes, yes, yes. I believe you. You are telling very much truly. Thank you very much. And now this time, can you read a poem from your book for the viewers who are watching this show?
Of course, I will read you
Please.
poems. They're, of course, written in Serbian, but I will try, like all the times that we have been before together, to do the emotion, to show the emotion. Then you can, of course, understand. Okay, so ovim se putem izvinjavam. This is my I'm sorry. Moje patnje nemaju, stvarno nemaju veze sa vama. Ako vaše imaju i stvarno imaju veze sa mnom, ovim se putem izvinjavam. Moje besane noći u krug mi vrte samo slike koje sam skovao sam. A ako u vašim besanim noćima takođe slike su moga delanja, ovim se putem izvinjavam. Moj mir je negde daleko, čini se neuhvatljiv. A ako i vaš mir neuhvatljiv se čini, ne očajavajte. Idite za njim dok ne bude kao mala beba ili štene neko u vašem krilu pitom i tih. Uhvatite svoj mir. Čini se da sam takav čovek koga prate oluje. A ako i vas prate moje oluje, ovim se putem izvinjavam. Evo ih svom snagom krotim, da vas ne more više moje more i delanja. Da bar neko noću mirno sanja, ovim se putem izvinjavam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marija, for your beautiful recitations. Though we don't understand the language of Serbian, but we have to understand the emotion, your expression, and we are watching very carefully when you recite your poem that uh, Your expression showing us that what was in the poetry. Really, there are too many languages around the world and so many countries and different part of the world. But the poetry and the poet language is one. That's come from the deepest place of heart. So every poet and poetess can understand the language of a poem. Thank you very much for your beautiful poem. And now I ask you one question: what power is there within the poet's pen? What is the power
Uh,
of the pen of a poet?
there is a power to bring peace. There is a power to bring understanding, uh, and also to bring, if necessary, reforms, revolutions. It's all that poetry can do. We as poets are really able to see the world from another angle, from outside, and also as part of it from the inside. So a poet's pen, also like any other writer's pen, is a really strong weapon. And I don't know if people understand how strong it actually is. If you look at centuries before and everything that was written, you can really see how strong it is to have remembering of a past life, to have remembering of what once was and how people thought and what were their problems before. So that power, that exact power, still stands to this day. And what the writer writes now, it will stay as a mark in history. And I really do believe and hope it can make an impact.
I just ask you one question that is very interesting. Is there something regarding writing that you would like to achieve that you have not yet achieved?
You will like my answer, I think,
Yes,
uh,
please.
because uh, of course you do not know what tomorrow will bring. I hope to be able to have inspiration, to be able to express, to be able to write. I, of course, want to publish, but you can never know what the future holds and what you will do. But on the other hand, what I would really dearly love is to get more involved and to spread the poetry language even further, to involved in events, to involved in festivals, and to help the world know better and understand better the world of poetry.
Well, very well answer you have to given us. We know that when you published your first book, that is a part of me in the Serbian name Diomene. After published this book, that was the best-selling poetry book on the time in your country. We have so far know. So please tell us the emotional attachment on the time when you have to heard that your book was the bestseller on the time. What was your feelings about your poetry books on that time?
Well, I will tell you about it. It was not, of course, best selling as a book itself, because, as I said, I was just on the start. It's really my first book, my first 50 songs, and you're just coming in to this world of writing. So there is many more writers who are well known, who are well published before, and it's just a natural sequence of events that their books with different topics come to the top, let's say. But as far as modern poetry, as far as poetry of young people, as far as poetry of somebody publishing for the first time, yes, it was a huge success. When I now think about it, it's really giving me a lot of emotions. I'm really sentimental. People loved it, who read poetry, who don't really read, but were looking to see what was that new thing, what was going on. It was really fun, and I met a lot of new people, and I met a lot of dear people, elderly, older than me, younger generations still in school who have read the book. It was really a fantastic experience. It's something I guess I cannot say it happened only to me, but I guess it doesn't have to happen every time. It was really something special. That year, those years behind us now, I really felt unreal. It was like magic.
And I asking you another question from your biography. We know that you are trying to making a bonding in between the traditional values and the modern world around your site. So, what is your
I'm sorry.
procedure and how you trying to bonding these things in the traditional values and the modern world? What is the way you are thinking?
Well, the tradition and the history and the religion, the faith, it comes from within. It comes from family, from culture. But my surroundings, as they are, it's modern times, it's modern people, different views that once were from what once was. So I'm trying with my songs to make that bond to other newer generations, to be able to also feel those inner feels that we are, I think, forgetting now as younger, and also for the more traditional generations, to experience something new and something different. That is not the cause of writing, of course. You write because you feel something that you have to express, that you have to talk about. But putting it all together, letting it out to the world to see, to hear, that is the point where I think my poetry can make that bond, that unity of traditional and of modern.
Thank you very much for your great answer. Do you write anything beside poetry?
I have written before in my life a few other forms, but my life has really been um, sculpted by poetry. I have really been guided in life through writing and reading poetry. So it is really something main and something unchangeable, undeniable in my life. If I write in another form, that will only be a plus. I would like it. I don't do it currently. I only do poetry. But even if it does happen that I write maybe another short story, that would just be a plus. I think I will always stay on the poetry side.
You write many things like novel, night short story, like art, like article, but you are very attentively to write poetry. Okay, fine, fantastic. And now this time, I am again asking you to please recite another poem for the viewers. And I am happily announcing that the 33 countries and 57 group are sharing this interview, and different part of the world they are watching this interview show. So we are really glad. Those people who are watching, we send them our huge love and respect. Please stay with us, and the 212 number of episode is going on in Uddan television, the Star Talk Show Part 5 is going on, and our today's special guest is Marija Stankovic from Serbia. Marija, please recite another poem for the viewers.
Thank you, Tofik. I will just recite another poem called Sađenje cveća. But firstly, I also need to express my gratitude to the reviewers. As I said to you, as a group, I said thank you very much for the invite. But also, I have to thank all the viewers for being here. As I know, I am the the brand ambassador. I was the guest host a lot of times, so I know there's really many countries involved, watching, participating, commenting, and I must send my salutes to everybody before I start. So my song is called Sađenje cveća. Meni je o mojim tišinama dobro. Tu sam na sigurnom i uzgajam cveće. Sklapam oči i zamišljam mirno more. Nijedna na svijetu mora na mene neće. Ti me pitaj, gde su tvoje more? Kada te zavisna kvarnog lica i štipa. Ne traži da mirišeš uvelo cveće, da diraš gde ne valja da se dira. Jer daću ti možda. I dalje ćemo oboje onda kroz život ići, sumorni, teskobni i namučeni. I miru više nećemo prići. Meni je u mojim tišinama lepo. Nek ja znam oko čega ih gradim. Igraš oko mraka i mnogih teskoba, dok posmatraš gde mirno sedim i sadim. I must say something. This is another, from your question, this is another song that might really fit to the question of before. It's gardening, regarding gardening and flowering. So I'm saying, leave me alone. Basically, it's such a rough translation now, of course, because we're going live, but leave me to do my share of stuff. Leave me to do my gardening in my own part of the garden, because I seem peaceful to you. Everything seems really good, but if you would give a closer look, then you would maybe find out what actually makes me as I am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your really fantastic answer, and we are very much happy today because this interview show is going as like a story. We are discussing, we are making some gossiping like this, but this is not like an interview show that I am asking you the question, you are giving me the answer. Not like this way. This is a very interesting time we are passing now. So thank you very much. I just ask you one question. Poetry has no boundaries. Do you believe poetry can change the world by its own dreamy way?
Well, I know it's a belief system you have. I know you have set upon a whole world of work surrounding that specific thought. And when I met you, you introduced me to that belief that the poetry can go such a long way. So I really hope it has the power to do so. I'm not sure. I'm yet to find out, but I sure hope so. And looking at you, I think everything is really possible with the poetry world.
Very good sentence that everything is possible in poetry. Thank you very much for your good answer. And 2 years, maybe 24 months before, when I first contact with you, you have to send me a photo to make the poster. And that time your photo was a rock. very rock style photo you have to send us. And I was very much impressed that the man, the person who is writing poetry and her poetry books was the bestseller in Serbia. She sent me a photo. It's the rock style, very tight, and just like I really impressed. And that's why when I listen your poem by translation in English, I was impressed. Thank you very much, Marija, for you are giving us very good answer.
Thank you.
Few number of readers all over the world are read modern poetry. One day there will be not a reader to read poetry. Do you believe it?
I
In the
really
world,
have.
there are not more readers to read poetry.
I
More
know.
people read in novel, short story or article, but in poetry, readers are very much few number of people around the world. They are reading in poetry. Do you believe one day there will no number of people who will read poetry, or the poetry people will be very big number? What do you think?
I could never believe that the poetry will not be read. We have a very famous poet in Serbia who had also a very famous song. The poetry will be written by everybody. With your question comes from another angle, but it's the same. Basically, lots of writing, but where is the reader? So a lot of people do believe that poetry is almost dying, and a lot of uh, times common people even look at it with kind of a ridicule in comparison to other forms of writing. But uh, it has the capacity in a short form uh, to say very important stuff, and to say a lot of meaningful things. So I think it will never stop being read. I think it is necessary, and everybody who likes to experience emotion, uh, let there only stay a few people in the world, but there will be people always who love emotion, who embrace emotion, and that will be the poetry readers.
Thank you very much for your great answer. Really, you are very much talented that I could not caught you by any question. You are always jump from my question. Thank you very much. You are really impressed, and so I told you many times that you have to read in poetry world because you are very intelligent, very talented, and your poem also show us some new thought, new philosophy, because you are the one person, very young man, but you are trying to make a bonding in between the traditional values and the modern world. This is a very tough job, but you are doing it very successfully. So, really, we are very much impressed to read your poem. Thank you very much, Marija, for
Thank you.
your beautiful thinking thought. And I am asking you one things: what is your future plan about your poetry?
Hmm. Well, I have hope to publish a new poetry book in whatever time it made possible. But you can never know what the day holds. If if it goes, which way will it go? Currently, I have a lot of love poems. That was something I have written. Family related topics, but I also have. Well, it's a wish. It's not something that you can do. Maybe you're just for something, not for something else. We will see. But I also have wish to maybe even do a little religious poetry. We will see. I'm trying here and there. So where the path leads me, That's where I'll go.
Can you tell for the to the viewers what is your future plan about your poetry?
It must be that I will continue publishing. I have a book in plan. It will be only poetry based, as we talked. But if I am able to, I will also try to publish uh, poetry and story bonding related more to traditional topics and to religious views. We will see how it goes. Currently, I'm only working on the second poetry book with different poetry topics, as same as the first one was.
Can you tell us the preparation of second anthology when will come?
Um, if I promise a year, I don't know if it will happen.
No problem.
But
Just what is your thinking that
I
you
think
are
like that. I think in the next year, maybe if everything goes right and if I meet the right person who wants to publish my work, I will maybe publish then. And I would publish for really from the heart and only for the purpose of fulfilling my inner self, my inner feels, not to publish and really be heard somewhere, but to make my own self at peace.
fine. And we have to reach in the last stage of this program today. So before we leave this program, I am again requesting to recite another one poem for the viewers, and then I will ask you the final question. Just read one last poem for the viewers.
Okay, let us see now. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a bad cough. Da imam sa kime. Večeras neka niko ne priča sa mnom, kao što i ne priča. Oh, I'm sorry. Da imam sa kime da progovorim, rekao bih. Ostavi me. Nešto mi je teško sada. Lagao bih. Sigurno bih lagao tada. I čekao da ipak ostane taj neko moj. Teško je kada nisi nečiji. Još teže kada nisi ni svoj. Ja ne znam ja ništa o tom. Tako sam načuo.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your poem today. We have to read. You have to recite three poems today, and though we don't understand the language of Serbian, before I told that we have to understand the rhythm of the poem because it touches our heart and your expression, your feelings. You have through your speech that we have to understand what you are written in your poem. And finally, I am asking you one thing. You will explain these things. I told you 2 years and 6 months before. I think you have to remember that you are born in this world only for poetry. But you have a family, you are a mother, you have a child, you have a husband, you have a good family. So, as you are born in this world for the poetry, so I am telling you that as you are the also brand ambassador of Uddan Little Magazine, the brand with the online television Uddan. So, can you tell us that you will continue work uh, for poetry, and can you stay always in poetry? You just tell one thing, and that will be the final answer for this
No, of
program
course.
today.
That is the best final question. And of course, I will stay. My highest hopes for future are really to be involved and to stay active. If, of course, as you said, personal life gives that time to me, I will always use it for poetry, for being united with all the people around the world who want to experience poetry together with us. So we will continue to work together. and I will continue to write. That's basically writing is the time where I mostly feel myself. Everything else is here and there. Poetry is me, so it will always stay.
Thank you very much for giving us the times today, because you are the guest. You are the guest today. Yeah, also, you are a host in sometimes in our show, because you are the brand
True.
ambassador. But today you are the special guest in our show. So you have given us a longer time. So we are really grateful to you. And very soon we will invite you for the hosting. And hope you will, if you can adjust the time, then you can join with us. Thank you
Hope
very much,
so.
Marija. Stay well, God bless you, and stay in poetry. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon, and here is also in good evening. Thank you. Good day. Bye bye. See you again.
Thank you very much for everything.